Good evening, everybody. You're listening to another episode of the Tall and Short of It podcast. I'm your host, Justin.
I'm Aaron. Welcome back. Good to see all the people.
Yeah, good to see you too, man. We are recording on a quiet Wednesday evening. We hit the record button right around 7:30 on time. Aaron, how you feeling this evening, man?
Much better than I had been feeling for the past couple days, so I'm good. Hold on.
Oh, nope, that was me. Here we
Okay.
go.
There's gonna be a little blip with my face going full across the video.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, but I'm doing pretty good. How are you, man?
Yeah, I'm doing okay. I know. I've been having some like stomach issues, so hopefully gonna go to the doctor tomorrow and hopefully get some whatever the fuck they can give me to help me out. And hopefully they're just gonna tell me, it's just this, man, you'll be fine. No, oh, it's stomach cancer, sir. I don't want
Yeah,
to hear any of that. But that's neither here nor there. It's probably just gas.
could
We got
happen.
the washing machine put in, so that's been amazing.
Beautiful.
Other than that, yeah, man, just looking forward to getting into the episode tonight. Looking forward to chit chat here. Coming off, just good day.
Yeah, very nice. I've also had some health weird stuff. I over the weekend I for the first time in a while went to visit my friend Shane and his girlfriend and grabbed some drinks with people, which was cool. So small group, but it was nice to like actually hang out in person with people. But um, man, I am not gonna have another Dirty Shirley for like maybe ever again because I was. This happens to me whenever I'm drinking with my friends for the first time in a while, and I will like plan out like the right amount of drinks for myself. I'll be like coasting through, like got a good feel, like everything's good, and
Wait, you
then
plan out the amount of drinks?
not really, but like I know how to pace it. Like
Ah,
I'm
sure.
pacing myself well with my drinks, so I'm not getting too bad. And then uh, every time people just throw these extra drinks into the mix, and it throws me off. Like Shane's girlfriend made Dirty Shirley's for everyone, and the next thing I know,
No, what's a dirty Shirley? Help
it's
the people out here.
I don't even remember what else in it. It's like soda, grenadine, vodka, something like that. I'll look it up.
Hmm.
But I mean, it tastes really good.
Okay.
Um, it is ginger beer, maraschino cherries, lime juice, and grenadine, or it can be
Gotcha.
vodka, lemon lime soda, maraschino cherries, grenadine. So I think there were a couple shots in it which threw me off my pace
Right, right. It accelerates the timeline.
very quickly, and so
Right.
then I woke up on Sunday morning.
Oh, that's funny. Jeez,
but
oh man.
but the wildest part was me and my friend Rachel got like an Uber home because we both live over here closer to the city. We're
Right.
like hop in the Uber. I don't remember the Uber ride at all, but we stopped at her place to drop her off, and my Uber was supposed to continue on. Well, apparently, I got out at her place and wouldn't get back in the Uber because our Uber driver was running stop signs and going through red lights on the way back here to our apartment or
Okay.
our my apartment, her apartment, like on the way.
Right. So you like on ethical and moral grounds, you were like, no,
So
fuck this guy.
apparently, me and my blacked out state refused to get back into the Uber driver's car, and then I canceled the Uber ride after he had already driven us back here. So I got hit with the cancellation charge, and then I ordered another Uber back to my apartment from across town.
Now, won't that hit that'll hit your Uber thing? You'll be like a 4.8 now or whatever.
No,
Oh.
because I reported them to Uber the next day. and they
So that would
refunded.
negate anything that he said about you?
Yeah, I reported him for dangerous driving and got my money back.
Oh, damn,
So
bro. You kind of snitching.
I mean, yeah, but I also apparently was concerned enough that I was not willing to get back in the vehicle. So
So you trust your. Oh, that's
yeah,
interesting. I respect that.
I trust, and also my friend who was in the car does remember the Uber ride, and she was like, "Yeah, it
Okay.
was like real sketch," and I was like,
Okay, so it was like scary for everybody involved.
"Yeah." So I was like, it was concerning.
Okay.
Then I had to drive down to Lancaster the next day, and let me tell you, like my GPS, I thought it must have had like no toll roads on or something when I went there, but it did
Right.
just take me the fastest route, which I got to drive through Intercourse, Pennsylvania. I got to drive
Hell yeah.
through Bird in Hand,
Yep.
all these weird names, and 2 o'clock on a Sunday, man. The Amish folk are just getting out of church. I swear I
Yep.
passed 20 to 30 horse and buggies on the way
They're
too. It was
they're out and
nuts.
driving.
Well, and it was a rainy day, so like some of them had the whole boxed in like carriage thing.
Oh
Other ones
yeah.
were just like chilling with like holding up a couple umbrellas above their heads.
Right.
It was a sight to see. So
Damn. Damn. Yeah, Intercourse, Pennsylvania, they be out there fucking. Intercourse, Pennsylvania fucks. For
it does,
sure.
it does. There are
Dude,
so many Amish people, so it
yeah, and
has
the
to.
Amish fuck like
They
crazy.
have to. What else are they gonna
Yeah.
do? They can't watch TV. No Netflix.
Well, and on top of that, like you're just like making your workers, you know?
That's your recruitment process.
Yeah, it's you just make them. Who's gonna till these fields? My future sons.
Better start having kids.
Yeah, seriously, man. That's where it's at. Well, I
That's
mean,
funny.
evolutionarily speaking, like
Yeah,
that's what you do,
it makes
you know?
sense. It
When they don't
works.
let you have slaves anymore, you just proliferate.
There you go.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, it was an interesting weekend. Then when I was driving home, it was potentially like the darkest drive I've had because I still felt like garbage. I was dying from my hangover,
Like
and
dark as in the
yeah,
like it
like
was
outside,
nighttime.
like it was 5 or 6 in the evening, so not that late, but the sun apparently had gone down. It was raining super hard. I drove through all sorts of fog. It was like hard to see on the
Gotcha.
highway. I was like
Gotcha.
just desperately looking out for people's taillights.
My
Um,
next question I was gonna say was it dark like you were having like dark thoughts, like you were just like a
no,
sad
no,
guy.
no. I just threw on some like just generic music. I don't even remember what I listened to. Oh, I lie. On the way there,
Generic music.
I listened to XXX's first album, which was kind of
Ooh.
kind of dark, a little bit.
Yeah.
But on the way home, it was just like a normal random Spotify playlist that I just
Just
like
gummo on repeat, right?
exactly. I needed something to pump me up, keep me going.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, it was weird drive. I haven't driven in weather that dark in a while. Like even night driving is typically not that bad.
Hmm.
But but yeah.
Well, I know I always used to go back up to school at like I would leave at like 10 p.m., 11 p.m.
Mm,
So there was nobody on the roads and I could just fucking
yep.
and it was turned a 2 hour drive into like an hour and a half or whatever.
Solid plan.
Yeah. It
I
was
didn't.
enjoyable. So I just say that to say I never minded a night drive.
Yeah, no, typically not. This was I don't know. Maybe my eyes were not working as well because my head hurt so bad. But
Hmm.
who
God damn,
knows?
bro.
Yeah,
We're
it was a
falling
rough time.
apart.
Dying slowly.
Yeah.
That's
Speaking
all.
of dying slowly, how's your therapist?
Uh, Pretty good. I had
Nice.
my second session on Monday, so
Hell yeah.
things went decently. Got it, dug in a little deeper to some different stuff, which was good. I'm gonna start journaling. It
Nice.
was a recommended thing. We're working on some different coping mechanisms for me for
Right, like
things. So
strategies.
yeah, some plans. So journaling is one of those,
Hell
and
yeah.
it's in. I just have to get like set a plan to. I want to like set a maybe even if it's just like 5 minutes a night to like throw like just turn everything off, open up a book, throw some thoughts on the in the journal, and start doing that consistently. So
Or even like I don't know how you feel about this, but even like maybe it doesn't even have to be anything from like from your headspace, just like a prompt, you
hmm.
know? Like I, don't-
I mean, my therapist down in Virginia had given me some workbooks and stuff like that, or like worksheets to go through and things like that.
right, right.
I'm gonna see down the road that might be something I
Okay.
get back to a little bit.
And the only reason I say that is sometimes it can be difficult to like just know where to start, like just
Yeah,
what's the first thing I'm supposed to write down.
true.
Dear diary,
Now,
today was a good day.
now I plan to mostly just like write like how I'm feeling, if anything noteworthy happened. Like it doesn't have to necessarily be like super deep or anything.
Right.
I've thought about like trying to write music at different points in my life, and
Hell
so
yeah.
maybe I have a few like different lyrics and things like that. They're like bars that I've thrown in my phone. So
Hell
they're
yeah.
not good, but that might be kind of cool to write some of that stuff out. See if I can work it into something that's actually like
Right.
creative and decent. So
Nice.
just for myself, I think it would be kind of cool.
And then what are the developments on your tattoo artist?
So tattoo artist, I've reached out to a couple of shops. Haven't really gotten much response. The one person that I really like their art works out of Hawaii primarily. They're only like a, so I found them on a Philly tattoo website, but the artist that I specifically liked at that site is only a
I did that with my brain, by the way.
magic.
I didn't have to get up to close that. Did you see that?
I
I just
did.
like focused on it real hard.
You're like, what's that book? Matilda, moving things with your mind. Is that the one?
Matilda?
Isn't that the one with the little kid that you has telepathy or something?
I don't know. I have telepathy though. I don't know anybody named Matilda.
It's like a book that probably would have read in like middle school. Yeah,
I
Matilda.
remember
Yeah,
Amelia Bedelia.
a little bit different.
I don't think so.
um, but I completely lost my train of thought. But
Nice.
journaling. Where was I? Journaling, writing lyrics,
Bars,
bars.
creative outlets,
Yeah,
tattoo shops.
tattoo shops. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the artist I was looking at, they are a guest artist at this studio. So they're like
Uh,
they live in Hawaii, but when they visit, they tattoo at this spot, and I guess they like periodically come into town. So I talked to someone on the phone. They're like, wouldn't recommend doing that because you typically want an artist who is like based out of your area so you can go back and see them if there's any like issues or whatnot. You don't want to get a tattoo and then the person be like, peace out, I'm half a world away. So
right.
so progress is a little slow. I did one of those websites where you can make a like temporary tattoo thing.
Okay.
So I did a custom temporary tattoo of the piece, and I sized it out generally to fit my arm, so I can like do
Right.
that.
Oh, sweet. So you get like an iron on to like test it out, like
Yeah,
try before you buy.
exactly. So I can give it
Hell
a
yeah.
shot, and just to get an idea of like how it would look and all that stuff. So
Right.
So yeah, it's a process, but it's really tough because what I'm looking for is not it's not common like to see works like that. So finding an artist that I feel like would do a good job doing that style
Right.
is kind of tough looking at their portfolios. So,
Yeah. Okay.
but
That's interesting though, man.
slowly getting there.
Yeah. I'm curious if it'd be funny if there was somebody who wanted tattoos, but like A, couldn't afford them, or like had like commitment issues. Here's what it is: a guy with commitment issues that really wants a tattoo. So what does he do? He buys a bunch of like the movie tattoo sleeves for like TV shows and shit. And so he just had like interchangeable
Interchangeable
tattoos and
tattoos.
stuff.
Well, that's what
Yeah.
this like temporary one. It's not like your old school like kid temporary tattoo that kind of like comes out janky sometimes is like peeling
Right.
off. These ones apparently will stay on you like for a couple weeks kind
Oh
of thing.
wow. So you can like really get a feel for it.
Yeah, so you can actually like get a good idea of if it's
Hell
something
yeah.
you want to keep. So I think that'll be cool to
Nice.
check out. I'm waiting for it. I ordered it like I don't know 4 or 5 days ago. I think like Saturday or Friday,
Sweet.
and it hasn't shipped yet. So or actually,
Ah,
it may have shipped. It's coming from like California somewhere over there. So who knows?
okay. Damn, that's a really interesting like little website service thing.
Yeah, there's a
That
couple of
somebody
them. Like you can get regular, just like generic stuff off their website, or do custom where you
like
upload
mom.
like design. Yeah, you can get mom with a heart and like.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
And the arrow into it.
I was gonna say the like little rose stem that's got all the thorns coming off it wrapped
Yeah.
around kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, you could do that
Yeah,
too.
like just to make it look tough. You know?
Dude, do you remember the fucking SpongeBob episode where he ripped the mom tattoo, flipped it upside down, stuck it back on him, and then SpongeBob was like, "Wow." Like he like
Wait,
read it off the thing.
is that the Weenie Hut Junior
I'm
episode?
pretty sure it was, yeah.
It was like, I eat nails for breakfast. And then it
Yeah.
comes to SpongeBob. He's like, just like, I think that place might be for you.
Yeah. And it's like all colors and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Holy shit, man. That episode's so funny.
Well,
Anyway.
and then Patrick and SpongeBob in the prolific SpongeBob movie with guest star David Hasselhoff.
Oh,
SpongeBob
yeah.
and Patrick are chilling in Weenie Hut Junior's sucking down milkshakes like early on in that.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
So it was like a running
Right.
theme.
That's a little bit of canon right there.
It is.
Holy shit,
Gotta be.
SpongeBob canon. You heard it here first, folks.
I didn't think that's what you meant when you said talking about sci-fi and anime titties earlier, but I guess SpongeBob is kind of anime.
I mean, Sandy Cheeks?
She is wearing a bikini.
She is. Exactly. No, that's funny. I just remember seeing a meme of another SpongeBob one where it's like Patrick and SpongeBob outside and Squidward's like curled up in bed, like rolled over, and they're like having fun outside, like with their like whatevers, and it's like
you good?
SpongeBob and Patrick, like the little blurb above it says like says says whacking off to anime girls, and the SpongeBob is like your dead ancestors rolling over in their grave.
Oh no.
Because they're like, what the fuck is he doing? And it just made me laugh so hard. I was like, that's the internet in a nutshell right there.
This is what you were talking about with your Reddit tip of my penis last week.
Yeah, yeah, dude, the internet, I hate it. Sucks. It's such a shitty
It's
place.
the worst.
It's literally just like OnlyFans links, SpongeBob memes, and fucking like dick jokes.
I mean, yeah, it pretty much covers it all.
Pretty much.
And
That's it.
podcasts.
And podcasts, yeah.
So,
Although, yeah, continue.
I was gonna say. So, what all do we have for this here podcast today?
Well, I think we covered the a little bit of the chit chat here in the early sections. We can talk. We should start with, well, let's start with the F1 liveries that came out in the time since our last episode, because I feel like that'll just be a short little bit, and then we can move on to juicier things. Now, the one everybody was waiting for, what do you think?
I like the Merc livery. I do. Mercedes put out, it's pretty cool. The red was like a little variation, but at the same time, I haven't really seen much on in terms of what people think of it.
Right.
But I like that they made some small changes like that. Like I was saying with the Red Bull one, there was like, it's virtually the same exact car. McLaren's like pretty much the same exact thing. I like that they made some slight changes that give it a new look, but they kept still that consistent like black with the cool teal racing stripe down the side and everything. I thought that it looks pretty slick.
Dude, I definitely agree. I'll be honest, I didn't really like notice the red and white at the top like to begin with. But yeah, I think that's really interesting.
It's really just the side view. Like the front view looks like still very much the same, real clean.
Right.
But that side view, it like pops a little bit. The color looks cool.
Dude, the front wings look fucking mean, bro. These cars are insane.
Yeah, they look awesome. Honestly, the front wings are some of my favorite parts of the cars. Like the Red Bull one, that's probably my favorite part of the Red Bull car too, is that front wing. It says Red Bull through the little like air ducts on it and everything.
Right. Dude, it's so funny seeing everybody standing like 10 feet apart.
Yeah. It's weird, but the times we live in.
Well, this is not F1 livery related, but apparently on like the hospital shows, they're fucking writing in COVID to the plot lines. And I guess they probably tried to avoid it for a long time, but since it went on for so long, like what the fuck else?
Can't just like ignore it. I mean, that's like it's become like a subconscious thing almost for me in turn, like when I watch movies and stuff like that and they're in like giant congregated settings and things and there's not a mask to be seen, it feels a little weird. I'm not looking at it and I'm like, this is like bad or like whatever. It's just it feels weird knowing that like we can't do that right now unless you live in Texas, since they lifted all restrictions yesterday.
Well,
literally all of them. No masks anymore. Like no.
I saw that.
I think that's dangerous. They're still having like 8,000 cases, or I think the U.S. is still at like really high in cases per day.
Right.
And
I imagine now the worry is going to be, now that they did it, you're probably going to see a couple other people, a couple other states following suit.
Yeah. I think my biggest concern is like people can leave Texas. Like,
right.
It's not like their power grid may be stuck in just their state, but
they can leave.
Their people can go all over and potentially cause
Yeah.
issues. I just like I'm at the point I want this all to be over as quickly as possible. I want everyone to get vaccinated as quickly as possible. Like
Right.
because I want to be able to go back to a more normal life and do things I enjoy. Like, do you think karaoke is ever going to be a thing again?
No.
Unless it's like you and your friends rent like a booth or like a room at like a karaoke place, like
Right.
public bar karaoke, probably not going to be a thing like ever again.
And that's an interesting observation because I imagine stuff like that will die out. But then I'd be interested to see the things that like go away for a while, but then like make a resurgence in some like
Yeah,
weird way. Like kissing on the mouth. Like what if like people are just so ecstatic where we like do the French thing now where we like kiss each other, when we see each other because we're just like,
yeah.
oh my god.
Well, my brother's in laws. So I went to Lancaster to visit my family to celebrate my dad's birthday. It was
Yeah.
this past week, so we all decided to get together. We like sat in their sunroom, windows open, like kind of spread out with like TV dinner tables and everything. But
Right.
my brother's in laws were like talking about at their church they were allowed to hug people again, like or they're allowed to start greeting people like how they would like to, I guess now. So
Right.
whether that's hugging,
Right.
shaking hands, like whatever.
Just fucking sucking each other's tongues, dude. Just like, oh, bless be with you.
I don't think that was happening,
Just fucking
but
spaghetti monster people.
don't think that was happening. But I
They missed
was
out.
I was thinking about it. I'm like, I don't think we're at a point that that's necessarily good to be like letting
Yeah,
that
probably
yet.
not. Probably
I
not.
could wait a little longer, but I get what you mean. Like a lot of people, I think, are kind of desperate to have that like physical, like human interaction again.
Yeah, dude, we're just gonna go back to free love in the streets, man. People are just gonna be.
Dude, I barely know the last time I've been hugged.
That's brutal. That's
It's
brutal.
like half a joke. Half
Well,
a
dude,
joke.
I remember seeing on YouTube a professional cuddler, somebody that like if you just don't have regular touch in your life, like a family's dead, you work in an office, like you and your friends just shake hands, you haven't had a girlfriend in forever, what are you going to do? You're going to call a professional cuddler, and like you call them up and you pay them hourly, and you just like lay
You
and cuddle
spoon.
each other. Yeah, and you just get your oxytocin in for the day. It was pretty interesting. People seem really sad.
I feel I feel for people who are in that spot because like
Me
that's
too.
definitely like one of my like things that I enjoy about being in a relationship is that physical like interaction, whether it's like hugs, like just chilling next to them on the couch, like all close up,
Right.
all that good stuff. Saving some room for Jesus.
Saving some room for Jesus.
No, but yeah, no, that's definitely something that I
Hell yeah,
get
that's so
in a
funny.
sense,
Right.
but I will never be paying for a professional cuddler. Like, you got to be down bad to be doing that.
I'll tell you this, I'd pay for a professional cuddler quicker than paying for sex. I would much rather
Yeah,
pay for cuddling than sex. Just like
fair,
as like an ego thing.
fair. I would agree with
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I'd just jump off a bridge if I had to pay for sex.
I don't think it's like one or the other. It's like jump off a bridge or like you have to choose one. I don't think that's how it works, man.
I don't know.
But yeah,
I've
so
only ever been in a relationship or on a bridge.
that's it.
That's it.
Two moods.
Two moods, bridge, relationship.
Relationship.
All right. Anyway, the Mercedes car looks pretty cool.
I was super excited though about the Alpine Renault car livery. Did you see that one?
I did. I'm looking at it right now.
It
I don't know how I
is.
feel about the. I don't know how I feel about the Superman colors. I really don't like it.
Well, so it's Renault is French company, Alpine is British. So the colors from their flags, blue, white, and red for both of them.
Right.
So I think that was from what I understand, primary reason they went with those. Um, I do get what you mean, though. It does look a little superhero-y, but I like it.
Throw a cape on it, it's gonna fly away.
It's got a nice shine. It's
Sure. Yeah, it's a good looking car.
yeah.
I like the Aston Martin one. That green is really sweet.
It is. It's a cool green, and Aston Martin, for like just back into F1 after a quick 60 years. They had. Did you watch any of their reveal or whatnot?
I ain't got time for that shit.
For whatever reason, they decided to have Tom Brady come on a Zoom call as part of it, and all the chat was like, WTF, Tom Brady, hand egg? Why are we having a hand egg person on? Like I was cracking up.
Damn.
Everyone was just roasting American football, which I thought was super hilarious.
Right.
I do really like the color though. The green is nice. I
Sweet.
I'm weird about the like reddish pink line though. It
Why?
it just
It's fast.
doesn't quite look. It just kind of looks out of place. The two colors, like they don't clash really, but they
Well, it's separating the black on the bottom.
it does. I just would have liked them to use a different color than that pinkish red,
Mm.
magenta ish. I think that they could have done something a little bit better in terms of that
Okay.
color. But overall, nice looking car.
Yo, and do you see on the Aston Martin crypto.com as one of their sponsors?
I did not realize that. Oh yeah,
Crypto.
Bitcoin baby.
Like, are we out here?
Yeah,
So wait, are you a millionaire yet or what?
millionaire? No, definitely not.
Got you. Got you. Okay.
I saw a TikTok about how to become a millionaire, and they're like, first you have to buy 8 shipping crates, and then you fill them all with these computers, and these computers mine crypto or mine Bitcoin, and you can mine. And it was like $28,000 per computer per year, which with all these computers ends up being $8 million per year. And I'm like, oh, that's really awesome, but you have to invest for 8 shipping crates and computers to fill 8 shipping crates, which probably is like, oh, for a cool $1 million, you can go out here and make 8 million a year. And it's like, yeah, like
Right.
if you have a lot of money, it's easy to make a lot more money. It's really easy. Like the stocks that I bought that jumped up to like triple the price in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
If I had bought 5,000 shares of them and it tripled the price, then like yeah, I would be able to. But instead, I could buy like 5 of them because I'm not loaded. So
Right. That's what I'm saying. You need like you got to be like Drake. You got to start from the bottom and then be somewhere else.
well, I mean, if I could be Drake, I'd be living my dream, you know? Just putting out
I can't imagine.
nothing but bangers.
I can't imagine the views that guy has. You
God,
know what I mean?
that was bad. That was a very good pun though.
Fucking dad jokes in the house here. But
I,
yeah, I think of the three, so Alpine, well, yeah, Alpine, Aston Martin, and Mercedes. Which one do you like best?
probably it's close between Mercedes and Alpine, whatever it
Hmm.
is for me. Um, I don't think any of the three is a real like standout top car for me in terms of
Mm,
livery. I might have to lean Alpine because I think it. I think I'm very intrigued by it being like a new brand in F1
right.
and they made the car like really pop. Like Aston Martin is new back into F1, but their car is very like plain and just clean with the colors. It doesn't
Hmm.
have any of that like that sparkle, that pizzazz to kind of bring it out. So I'm leaning Alpine, Mercedes a close behind them, and then Aston Martin like not far behind them.
Okay.
What are your thoughts?
I think I would flip mine exactly.
Mm. Merck's at the bottom for yours, or just flipping the
Yeah.
top two?
Oh, no, I think it would go Aston Martin, Mercedes, Alpine.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's not flipping them at all.
Yeah, yeah, it is. That's yeah, that's a flip.
What's flipping?
No, I had like Alpine, Mercedes, Aston Martin. You had Aston Martin, Mercedes, Alpine. So
Ah,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
So you did.
Okay.
I just wasn't sure if you just meant like flipping Mercedes and Alpine or flipping them like all completely. So,
Right.
but
Gotcha.
so you're a big Aston Martin car guy or livery guy.
Yeah, I think that teal is pretty cool. Although, well, and I think I'm I like the car that Vettel's going to be in. You know, it's just like that's what he's driving, so I'm a bit of a fan.
Okay.
Although I think it's funny that Stroll was like, "I'm going to be third in the constructors this year." I was like, "Yeah, it's probably not going to happen."
Yeah, I don't think so. Um, Seb's picture though, did you see his picture standing next to the car?
Uh, I saw pictures of him. I'm not sure if I saw the one that you mean.
It's just so funny because he's just uh, can't send it. File too large.
Damn,
Um, gonna try again. There
big
you go.
Danish man. Hell yeah.
He just looks so awkward in this picture, and I
Yeah.
love it. He kind of looks like he doesn't want to be there for the photo shoot, which he probably didn't, because it's Seb and he's German and he's like all about business.
Right.
So
Yeah, I was gonna say it's just how much these dudes want to like how much they like the spotlight and whatever.
yeah, like if you scroll over to Stroll, he's still kind of like I don't know what to do with my hands, but he's at least smiling.
Right. He's got that watch turned out nice and big.
Yeah. It is a little
Fucking.
funky seeing him not in a pink jumpsuit, though. I would say
It's good though.
I didn't like the
F1
pink in
doesn't
F1
need
either.
pink.
I agree. I didn't think. I'm
It's not
glad
a
that they
it's
didn't
not a
have that.
fast color.
It's not.
It's very Pepto Bismol-y.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of it since they were back when they were Force India. Like it wasn't.
Yeah,
I it just stuck out like a sore thumb in my opinion. Um, so I do like the change to the green teal. I think it's a solid look. Um, it's a fast
agreed.
look. It's a fast look. The all the cars so far look really fast.
I agree. I agree. I think the 2021 changes have built a pretty sweet vehicle going into this year.
Yep,
And
we've
have
got
some mean machines on the track, man.
Haas dropping their livery tomorrow. Williams dropping theirs on Friday.
Yep.
And then Ferrari next Wednesday. So for next pod, we'll have three more to look at.
Hell yeah. And then we should be getting into winter testing then.
Yep, next Friday. So we're a
Da-na-na-da.
little over a week away from winter testing. So I'm pumped about
Right.
that. Um,
And to the listeners,
yes.
keep an ear out, keep an eye out. We are doing bonus episode number 2. We're live watching the first race. Where's it at? I guess Bahrain.
Yep, Bahrain GP on the 28th, Sunday the 28th.
Nice. So Sunday
So,
the 28th, we're going to do a live watch of the Bahrain Grand Prix.
yep.
Hopefully it'll be up that evening.
Oh
I don't
yeah.
think we're going to stream it, but
No,
it'll
I
be up
mean
for that evening.
potentially.
Uh,
We could
unlo-
we could maybe figure something out. If we figure something out by then, we might be able to stream it.
okay. Stay tuned,
Um,
everybody.
but at the very least, it should be up that evening. So
Right.
our race watch through. So I'm excited for that. That'll be cool.
Yeah, I think that'll be sweet. So yeah, bonus episode 2, Bahrain Grand Prix. What'd you say, March 28th?
March 28th.
March 28th.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm very excited to get into the season.
Yeah, it's gonna
It's
be
gonna be a fun one.
very very fun. I'm excited. Um, yeah. So that's the F1 news for the week. Not I don't think I have any other stuff to really get into.
Um,
Well, F1 related at least.
yeah, nothing F1 related. The only other thing is the only thing that's like really been going on that I've been like keeping tabs on is the conversation about the sprint races
Mm,
for qualifiers.
gotcha.
And I just think the conversation around like how to make qualies and the races like more competitive and like what changes you could do to the format that, make for, whatever kind of a good race people are looking for, like a reverse grid or whatever it would be.
I think that would be
Um,
better than a reverse grid, personally. But I think it's a cool idea. I will have to read up a little bit more. I think they're looking at calling it, from what I'm seeing here, super qualifying potentially.
hmm
So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know how much like I kind of like the qualifying um I kind of like the qualifying format that they have now, but what it does is put like an emphasis on a good qualifier, right? To the
mm-hmm.
degree that some people would argue that maybe the race actually happens on Saturday. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think for some tracks you could potentially say that, especially like there are
Right.
definitely a lot of tracks where I would 100% disagree, especially if there's any like weird type of weather, like potential for rain for a few minutes
Right.
here or there, things like that. Because obviously that can change up a lot, but I think in general, um, there are a lot of tracks that are very tight, hard to pass, and it makes for qualifying being the biggest factor of the weekend,
Mhm.
um, barring any weird pit issues and virtual safety cars and
Right.
incidents.
I think
So
the one concern for the sprint race is like why do something dangerous 2 days in a row? Like the qualifiers are yeah, you have everybody on the track, but they're not like gunning for position. They
right, they're kind
can
of in a bubble a little bit. Like they have their
yeah,
own space to try and get their time in. You're trying to like everyone's trying to find an even kind of distance around themselves on the track
right,
and everything.
right.
You're not actively
Excuse
trying to
me.
like pass people or like make moves to better your position. You're just trying to
Right.
get a good lap in.
Yeah.
So
And then the addition of the sprint race, it's dangerous, overtaking and this
yeah,
and that. But the one thing that I thought would be cool, the one idea that I came across is having like an elimination thing
mm,
where the at the end of each lap, who's ever in last is off the track, and then eventually it would turn into just like a one lap shootout for first, and
I
then there would be because it would encourage significant overtaking throughout the thing and like trying to
right.
pass people. But yeah, it's just like danger.
Right. I think if you're forcing overtaking, that makes it riskier almost.
Right.
Um, so I don't know how. I think it's a really cool idea, but at the same time, I think it could push drivers to make riskier passes, more
Yeah.
dangerous moves. And I mean, probably going to end up with a decent bit more damage to cars, engineers having
Hmm.
to do a lot more, and like on the back end side of things as well. With
Yeah, that's a
that,
really good point. The
so
like parts and mechanics would
yeah, I think that would be a potential issue with that as well. Is
hmm
like
yeah, for sure.
banging front wings and whatnot.
And how much does F1 really need that? You know what I mean? Maybe that's the right qualifying format for another motorsport, but
Yeah,
it doesn't sound like a good
like
fit for F1.
I could see it. That would make more sense to me for like circle track racing, like NASCAR,
Yeah.
Daytona 500, like those kind where you're making passes and making moves are not as risky as trying to late break someone and then cut them off at the hairpin and make a move and
Right.
things like that.
Right. It's not as dangerous.
You're not making as sharp of movements in those other racing formats as you are in F1. So,
Yeah.
but definitely an interesting thought, though. I like that they're looking at more options um, to see what they can do.
Yeah, and I'm not like hot to trot to change it or anything like that. I quite like the qualifying that we have now.
Mm,
I'm just bringing it up just because it's a conversation being had. I think it's interesting. There's some good arguments on either side.
definitely.
Um, and yeah, just changing of changing of how you do things in a sport often has um rules consequences down the line that you may not originally foresee,
Yeah.
so it can be tough, but yeah, just an interesting conversation nonetheless.
Yeah, I think
um
it's tough because there are, it could be unanticipated consequences, but there could be unanticipated benefits too. Like
sure.
it could definitely add some excitement. It could make things more interesting, make people um, finagle with their car setups a bit more to try and get them in a position for a sprint race format as opposed to the like longer racing.
Yeah, and that would be a different like tune.
Yeah, like setting it up so that you have more downforce and stuff like that, so you can make sharper cuts on turns. Maybe not have as much straightaway speed, especially if they're or who knows, maybe more straightaway speed, less downforce because you're looking. Maybe they have no DRS in these sprint races, or who knows.
Right.
Like I'm not sure what they're fully looking at, but there are a ton of different things that play into the outcome of that potentially.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
it's definitely an interesting thing to think about. And at the end of the day, I don't see why testing it a race or two throughout the season would be a bad thing.
No,
Just to
neither do
see,
I. If anything, I would find that most interesting, like you said, just to test it out.
yeah, shake it up.
Hmm.
Shaking something up every year, on the other hand, is a whole different story.
That's a segue. That's your best segue yet. That's honestly, that's your best segue
I
yet.
know. I thought of it. I'm like, gotta use it.
Hell yeah. I'm proud of you, bro. That was awesome. But yeah, and me and Aaron were getting into do it a little bit before the show, and I think this is where we're gonna get pretty animated.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, like one of so we can talk about any like individual matches. But you know, if anybody listening, if you're following the NaLCS, I'm sure you've seen the games. I'm sure you've seen some breakdowns of them. I think the angle that I wanted to go, and one of the questions I wanted to ask Aaron tonight is like, how do you feel about the format of this year? And a tagged on question to that is why are we changing the format of LCS and the competitive year in and year out?
So for me, the start off like it is not. This format doesn't make a lot of sense to me personally, and
Okay.
just to start it out. And so for everyone listening, basically, it's NaLCS. as opposed to previous years where they have a spring split, a summer split. Your standings both come into play in terms of your seeding for final playoffs to go to Worlds and whatnot. Um, that's how that worked. This year, it is one long season. All your games total up to your final record at the end of the season to determine playoff format standing, or not format, playoff standings. Um, like
But wait, it's not playoffs though. It's just a midpoint little
Oh no,
tournament.
no, no! I'm talking about end of to go to
Ah,
Worlds. Like
gotcha,
your
gotcha,
stuff
gotcha.
carries all the way through instead of just like well, you finished third place in spring split and you finished second place in summer split, so you got 25 points for your first split and 30 points for your second split. So you have
Right,
55 points and you have so now you're second overall in the standings and you get a bye in the playoffs or like whatever it is. It was
right,
like but yeah, so I mean there's no separate splits, but you still have a mid-season tournament that somehow has to be decided who goes and they're I think the stupid thing to me is they're not doing it by standings. I think if you're doing it this way, having one long season, why have a mini tournament halfway through to decide who goes to the international midseason tournament?
right. It's
If you're
almost as
not
though
if
you're
you're
just
not going to have a
ignoring the
split,
results.
like
Yeah.
if you're not going to have a spring split separated where you have a playoffs for it and everything,
Mhm.
why are you having a mid-season tournament to go to the mid-season invitational? Like,
Right. And it seems as though they've tried to set up like the exact same things without calling it what they used to,
exactly.
and by removing some element of it that I don't really understand, because uh, it sounds like it's exactly what it used to be. We're just using vague language now as opposed
Yeah.
to exact language.
And so this is where before the episode I said I blame this on Double Lift, and so
Right.
what I meant by that is when Double Lift came out and said spring split doesn't matter last year because the spring split
Yes.
standings were not coming into play in terms of seeding and whatnot to go to Worlds.
Hmm.
There was no motivation other than going to MSI, which got canceled because of COVID,
Right.
um, to like necessarily have to perform during the spring
Hmm.
split. So now they've like kind of made it one long season so that they're like, see, every game does matter, but we're still
Hmm.
doing the same exact thing.
Right.
So it's just weird. And yeah, like also, I think one of the things that you wanted to bring up was why is every league doing a different thing? Why does every league's season have a different format?
Hmm.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Like there are teams playing in LPL that are doing best of 3 sets and they're playing tons of games. They're playing throughout the week. LCK, you've got best of 3s. Europe, you've got I think still 2 splits in the LEC.
Hmm.
So you have 2 separate splits that are all best of 1s still.
Hmm.
LCS, you have one long split, one season with
Where the
no.
record's just going to get massive.
Yeah, where you're gonna end up with someone being like,
27-4.
no, it's gonna be worse than that. That was like old LCS when they had the super weeks at the beginning where every team
Oh,
played like
fuck.
6 games and
That's right.
like 6 games in a weekend where no one was prepared for any of the teams that they were playing against.
Right.
And
Well, and that was just like a production like hoax for them to be like, how do we jam all these games in?
oh
We'll
yeah,
call it Super Week.
and they're like, yes,
More like
there's gonna
Hell
be
Week.
seriously for the teams it
Yeah.
had to be because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, instead of the normal like 10 games a weekend. We're going to do 30. Like,
Insane.
that's
Absolutely
nuts.
insane.
Um,
But yeah, so like, so that's the idea is where is consistent competitiveness going to come from if every league is different, plays by different standards, different setups.
yeah.
And then on top of it, like we think going to Korea for 1 month out of the year is like going to get people ready for, the like tournament like settings
Yeah.
scenario.
I think, I mean, not to knock boot camping, because I think
Mm-hmm.
if you're in a really good atmosphere like that where your focus is just on improving, honing things and everything, you're going to be in a really good like probably in your top form in terms of like your reaction time and your, as long as you don't burn yourself out doing it, like your
Right.
reaction time and those different things, if you're just like honed in for that long, I think are going to be better. But that 1 month a year doesn't make up for all the variations in your league, your quality of play, quality
Right.
of practice, solo queue.
Right.
Huge difference. And I mean, I think the biggest things for me, it should be best of threes in every league at the
In
minimum.
every league,
In every
all
league,
the time.
always best of threes.
Like, yeah, why haven't we outgrown the best of one? It is, if it's just for like production reasons, man, that's bullshit. Because
And
Riot's got 3D dragons and Imagine dragons, and they've got 10 as many dragons as Riot wants at every tournament. They've got money, so it can't be a
mm-hmm.
production issue.
I
You
think
know,
I think the biggest thing that it's about, in my opinion, is not having multiple streams coinciding at the same time. Like, because if you're doing best of threes and you're trying to get the same, I guess, number of matchups in each
mm-hmm.
weekend, you're
That was another thing they did.
it's gonna take
Double streaming.
more time consuming. So like you would probably have to split up the streams to allow for all the like matches to be able to be viewed. But
Right.
like they're like, no, but then our numbers on this channel look bad and our numbers on that channel look bad because most people would be watching both channels, or who are watching each channel would just be watching one, so then it makes our streaming numbers look bad. It's
Right.
like, well, it
What are you gonna
just,
do?
yeah, like if you, especially with and to something we'll talk about a little later, probably the import rule. um if you're looking, especially in North America, you feel like you're lagging behind the other major regions
All the time,
constantly.
every year.
I mean, we used to think that we had a rivalry with Europe because we're like the Western Hemisphere and yada yada yada, but they've made it to multiple World Finals. And
Well,
like,
yeah, that ended when Caps and Perks
and
showed up.
they clap us in every
Yeah.
matchup that we have against them, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's
Like,
not much of a conversation anymore, which is
yeah,
kind of funny. And it sucks too. It
yeah.
sucks too because like you just hear all these analysts and commentators just talking so much smack on the NA region, and it's like, but
And people from here too, and they're,
right, well,
yeah,
that's the thing,
like
yeah.
they're like, oh, the state of solo queue is terrible. Well, like, Riot, why don't you fix server locations so there's lower ping? Like, for Valorant, when you and I hop on there, it'll be like I'm playing in off the Virginia server, which is
Mm-hmm.
2 hours from here.
Right.
For League, everyone's playing off servers based in Chicago. Doesn't matter if you're East Coast, West Coast, Texas. Your servers are in Chicago. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, you, that's your quality of ping. Like, your
Right.
best case scenario, if you don't live in Chicago, you're getting 50 ping, pretty much.
Well, and then there's the whole thing about like what percentage of the players in this region are playing in the ranked environment.
Mm.
So then, like, how good then is the ranked environment? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like at the highest level. So yeah, it's just like all these discrepancies between the leagues that just create very disappointing competitive differences
Right.
across the world, and then a couple times a year they want to have these conversations about and like square these teams up and compare them, and it's like
Yeah.
how they haven't had anything close to a similar year.
Right. That's the biggest thing for me. If you are going to like if you're going to have everyone competing against each other, and also if you are looking to have the same type of success here in North America as they do in these other regions, primarily LCK and LPL in Korea and China, who have been the top dog for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
why are we not doing the same format as those leagues?
Right.
Something is clearly working. Yeah, that China has a bigger player base. Yeah, South Korea has better ping and better practice. And I mean, not to mention LPL teams and LCK teams can scrim each other because they're still close enough to have good enough quality
Right.
ping and everything. So they're already playing against each other during the year.
Right.
Mimic the things that you can from those leagues as much as possible.
Yeah, because they're the best ones that we have.
If
Yeah.
you want to catch up with the best, why is mimicking their format not the first step that you do?
Yeah. Well, and then going back to what we were talking about the boot camp, like, yeah, and then so you're not gonna mimic their format, and then but what you are gonna do is ship your whole organization across the world,
Mm-hmm.
and think a month of like scrimming IG is gonna like catch you up.
Right.
Learn the patch, and here we are.
And
I
for years and years, all those boot camps were teaching LCS and LEC teams to play the Korean style or the LPL style that those teams have been playing for a full year, and you're
right.
trying to do their thing but like worse because you have way less experience playing in that style. Most likely you're not playing the same exact champions and meta and everything
Right.
as they are there. So like you're not gonna ever be better than the people. Like 1 month of me playing tennis, I'm not gonna be better than someone who's been playing tennis for a year in most cases.
Right.
Like if you're just picking something up and winging it, like you're not playing your own style that got you there and everything.
Mm.
And I think another huge factor that is, and my biggest thing is those best of series. Like, if you're a North American team, say you're a new team, no one's had any international experience, you start out this season with a lot of young people, and like, say, Dignitas. A lot of their players are new, young, don't have experience internationally or necessarily even in playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You get the number one seed in playoffs at the end of the season. You get a bye. You play two best of whatever series, win LCS, let's say. Say
Right.
they play a couple best of 5, best of 7 series, whatever, and go to playoffs. You have maybe throughout the whole season with the different like little mini tournaments they're throwing in, maybe get 5 or 6 best of series
Like on stage.
throughout
Right.
an entire year where you're having to change your gameplay against the same people. You're having to run it back, say, oh, I think we misplayed our comp. We're going to run back the same comp. Or, oh no, they picked this, let's counter it with this, let's ban
Right.
this. Like, you get very minimal experience to do those things in a format like NaLCS has this year.
Hmm.
Teams in Korea and the LPL are doing it every single week.
Right. Right. The amount of games that they're playing is insane, and they're doing it like back to back against the same teams,
Yeah, they're having to
week in and
change
week out.
their drafts, they're having to adjust their play style based on their
Yeah.
and you don't get that
Yeah,
in
there's so much more in those best ofs than the, just the single match.
yeah. It's a huge difference in my opinion,
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
it adds a lot of nuance into the game, and so like yeah, I it's frustrating because obviously we want to, as people from the US, we want to see North American teams do well. And
definitely.
I feel like to some extent we're handicapping ourselves by changing the format every single year. How are you ever going to even know if a format works if you just dump the whole thing at the end of the year? You're like, oh,
Right.
well, we didn't win Worlds, so time to shake things up and do a new format next year. Well, like maybe if you do it 2 years in a row, something will grow out of it. Things will get better. Things will
Hmm.
improve.
It seems like Riot is just making clerical changes just to try and get TSM a championship, and then it doesn't happen, so they scrap it.
Like, try again next year.
Yeah, it's all just one big reality show for TSM.
Ooh, Bay life, baby.
Bay life, dude. We live in that Bay life out here. No, but like
Well,
for real, it's really frustrating when you get to an international tournament and you have to hope for like cheese or gimmicks or like, oh, it'll be a miracle if TSM makes it out of groups, and then like, oh, they make it out of groups, they win one game, where
yeah,
it's like the group of death shouldn't exist. The only reason the group of death exists is because there are teams in these like top regions
mm,
that are really like nowhere near
yeah,
the competitive level of the other, like LPL, LCK,
right.
even LMS is like top tier.
In most seasons, I would say going into Worlds, the it's like there are the three Chinese teams and they're all really good. Then you got the three Korean teams and they're all really good. And then you've got like two European teams that are good and one European team that's like decent. And you've
Right.
got like one good NA team and two ones that you're like, you could have thrown any of the other teams in there.
Yeah.
It would have
Yeah.
been
Yeah.
fine. Like the seasons that, I mean, even though Cloud9 ended up making it out of groups in the majority of their times that they've been to Worlds, there
And
were
from a shot calling perspective, gave some of the top teams a run for their money.
yeah, but there were multiple times that you could legitimately argue they shouldn't have even made it to Worlds because they had to
Sure.
run the gauntlet to get there. And like, I mean, yeah, they earned it. They played
They
those.
earned it.
They did. They won those best of series. They made it and everything.
Back to back to back to back to back.
But depending on the format, you could have potentially not even seen them get a shot at that if you went with some of the older formats where it was like the winner of the league, the second place team, and whoever had the most points in the split, like next most points combined in the splits, and like no
Ah,
no gauntlet. Like you could have potentially seen other teams that weren't as good go, and like that's with all these changing formats and everything year to year, adapting to them, yeah, is like a useful skill, but should you have to spend energy adapting to a new format instead of just figuring out the best way to play?
right. Oh, that's interesting. Like, is there a way to just cheese like the system to get wins and stuff?
To some extent, I would say there
Right.
is, especially in best of one. Like best of ones, I even this past week, like we saw CLG was toe to toe with 100 Thieves to the point that I thought 100 Thieves was going to lose to them. To
Mm-hmm.
a team that was at the time 1-8. I thought
Right.
was going to be the team that was tied for second place in the LCS. They lost on they gave up two bad picks, I think, towards the end of the game. They were dominating the whole game, and 100 Thieves managed to just flip it
Well,
around.
if I remember correctly, they found Turtle, and
Yeah,
then they were able to win.
yeah. It was just like they, but yeah, 1-8 team was competing with like a 6-3 team,
Mm-hmm.
super close, and it's a best of one. Like
Mm-hmm.
very easily, if you have another game, the next game could have been a 25-minute 100 Thieves stomp,
Right.
and it would have been 2-0. But
Very quickly, yeah.
or CLG could have won that game, and then 100 Thieves could have come back and stomped them in the next two potentially. And then 100 Thieves doesn't look any worse the wear because they had one tight game. But then since they had that one tight game, I was like kind of almost questioning, like, oh, is 100 Thieves like as good as I think they are when they're almost losing to CLG? Like it's
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so like the data is actually much worse. Like you actually get bad data when you do these best of ones.
definitely like
Right.
having having a larger set to look at
Mm-hmm.
makes it
Is way more
so much
optimal.
easier to define. Well, and even for teams, like you can look at what's consistently plaguing you as issues. Like if you're FlyQuest and you're playing EG and you keep seeing like impact dumping on Licorice game after game after game in a best of three series, then you're like, okay, like what do we need to do to get Licorice in a position?
Get rid of him.
But if it just happens once, you're like, oh, maybe he had a bad matchup.
Right.
Like you're just not getting, like the way you put it, you're not getting good data in these best of ones.
Because you can infer left and right, and there's so many variables and factors that you can just be like, oh yeah, it was just a bad matchup.
Right,
When
exactly.
in reality, it was like actually this issue and this issue and this
It was like
issue come
maybe
to life.
pick and ban, or the jungler started the wrong side or started opposite
Right.
side,
His like
and
ward timing or whatever.
all sorts of different things like
Mm-hmm.
that. But if you get even two games, you're like, oh, okay, like this happened in multiple times. Like this is a consistent thing that we need to focus on. And I mean, I know that they're getting some of that in their scrim sets and things like that, but teams always talk about how scrims are never like stage games.
Right.
Everyone's going balls to the wall right off the bat. Not just they're playing with no regard for their safety. Like it's
Right. A jungler will pop off in the first couple minutes, remake it, that's over.
yeah,
You can't remake on stage,
no,
you know? Yeah.
and like if there's no consequences like to losing a scrim, then yeah, of course teams are gonna just like go ham and make
Mm-hmm.
risky plays and do that stuff. It I think they did a good job this year at least of increasing the number of stage games that teams are getting. Like you're getting
Mm-hmm.
3 stage games a weekend, which I think is a positive thing. I don't think that the way they did it is necessarily the best way. If you
Well,
want
it's not they're not stage games, you're in your bedroom.
true,
All these players are sitting in their bedroom, dude.
true. Well, I know a lot. I think a lot of the teams have actually started to move to um,
Facilities and stuff.
having stuff at
Yeah.
their facilities and things. So at least you can hopefully get yourself in a different mindset or a different setting. And like if playing stage games in your room like is you're
Where
gonna
where
be
you just turned off your stream
yeah Like,
it all is just gonna blend and just
right.
become
Well, that's why I don't like and didn't like working from home personally
right,
when the
right.
pandemic started. I had no separation of anything. I was sitting at my desk for the entire day. I was sitting at my desk
Mm-hmm.
for however for 9 hours for work, and then afterwards I'd get up and go eat something, and come sit at my desk and play games. Like I was
Mm-hmm. Right.
everything was I was staring at the same screen. There was no commute to like help me have a mental reset or anything like so I like that I think a lot of teams are doing stuff at a facility or a team
Mm-hmm.
office and things like that, but it's still not the same as like being on stage with fans and like
Right. Yeah, doing the dap ups afterward. I literally just hit myself in the head doing dap ups like after the game and stuff.
yeah.
I don't know, dude. I'd want to be playing in the Doritos League of Legends war room.
That just bringing back the whole everything's sponsored. Let's go to the State Farm analyst desk after that Red Baron power play in the Bud Light Ace.
Jeez, man. It's just like
Sorry, and the Bud Light Ace.
there you go. Dude, and they just like throw it in there too. They're just like, and the Bud Light Ace.
Yeah, it's so forced.
It's so forced. That that's neither here nor there. Whatever.
Yeah. I
But
mean,
yeah,
they got
it's
to make their money for the league. I
right.
get it. It just
Yeah,
sounds cheesy, but it is what
sounds
it
funny.
is.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we all quivered in ecstasy when we heard Rick Fox was coming to join us. We were like, "Ooh,
The
sports
NBA.
people!" You
Yeah.
know, we're a bunch of fucking little coomers. Anyway,
But yeah, I think that I 100% agree. I think that changing the format for LCS yearly is definitely not good for the league. I don't see
yeah.
it as a positive, and I think that the biggest positive, and kind of I guess going into one of the other things, the import rule.
Mm-hmm.
The LCS team owners and everything want to make that change so that they can be more competitive. Biggest thing for me is changing the format so you're like the most competitive regions so that you can like it's something's clearly working for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Why not follow suit? I feel like they wouldn't be continually doing those kinds of formats if they didn't work.
Yeah, that's a good point. And like it's continue well, and maybe the way they play isn't as important as like the infrastructure and like coaching staff and this and that.
It's
But I
definitely part
have
of
to
it.
believe, man, that if we started playing more games at a at like a truer clip, like it would just make for it would just increase the skill level of NA and EU like as a whole.
Yeah.
If they're just playing like more games at a higher competitive tier, and I know players like look to all the Korean and Chinese players anyway. They're always watching their streams on their op.gg, seeing what they're playing, all the newest picks, and where do they come from? They come out of Korean and China. So we're already emulating them anyway. Why not? Why not actually do it? Because yeah, I would much rather. I would just much rather see good games. But like you were saying with the import rule, um, I'm not too concerned about like having 10 teams of all homegrown North American players. I really don't care about that. If changing the import rule or removing it completely, if we can have maybe 3 imports or 4 imports or whatever, like, the fact that it would be a multinational team, it doesn't bother me at all. um
Yeah.
I would just want I would just want to know that the teams that were doing it had the infrastructure to handle that, like the language barriers and this and that. But
Mm.
yeah, other than that, man, dude, bring it on. If these players want to play over here and the orgs can match like big China money and go for it. I'm not too concerned about, little boy Blue from Ohio having a spot on one of these NaLCS teams. I could give a fuck. I just want to see the best players.
Personally, yeah. Like, and I do understand to some extent that they do want to keep a big player base in the U.S. And if teams
Mm-hmm.
and if players are like, well, I'm never gonna have a shot at making it on an LCS team because they're just gonna bring over the top Korean players and whatever.
Right.
I don't know if that is motivation or if that would be just demoralizing and you just quit playing kind of thing, but I definitely agree. I think that there needs to be changes to the import rule. I think it's kind of silly that we're tiptoeing around everything so much with like, oh, Impact's been here for a few years now, so he's NA now, and Sven Skaren's NA, but they're really not. And
Yeah,
like,
they're only here on work visas.
yeah, basically, it's like,
Yeah.
okay, like if people want to cut, like there has to be, and kind of as you were saying before the podcast, it's very hazy, like how to even become a native NA player. Like, do you just need a green card? Do you just need to be here for a certain amount of years playing? Do you have to actually like go for your U.S. citizenship? Like, what do you like? And even listening to some of the other league podcasts out there, it seemed like some of them who are like talking to the players and the coaches and the teams also weren't fully aware of what actually you need to become an NA resident or like to
Right.
become like a non-import.
Right. Well, and how many times at the start of seasons, during off-season moves and stuff, how often would you hear like, "Oh, this player's hold up because of visa issues," and "Oh, they can't get in the country," and "Oh, they don't have their work visa yet," and this and that. It's like, holy shit, man! Like,
Oh yeah, it's like it's a huge issue. And also, sorry to take us back a little bit to the format thing,
no, that's
but
fine.
it reminded me of something that I wanted to look at in terms of like getting good quality games and everything.
Mm-hmm.
2015 LCS summer split when Cloud9 ran the gauntlet.
Mm-hmm.
So season was uh, round robin, double round robin. So teams played 18 games during the summer split.
Mm-hmm.
Cloud9 played 14 games in the gauntlet.
Right.
They
Right.
almost
And they were
played.
like best of fives.
They almost played the same number of games as they did the entire split in just the gauntlet.
Well, the gauntlet was just a weekend too, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was
Yeah.
just like, yeah, it was. 3-day weekend. Saturday,
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, Monday. They played 14 games compared to 18. 18 over 9 weeks.
Right.
And then they played 14 games in 3 days. Like, that's a bad format. That is objectively, like, you're not setting your teams up to be successful in these best of 5 settings and best of formats at Worlds.
Right.
So like, why are we not doing best of formats? But anywho, back to that. Just I was thinking of that and I had to look it up to make
Oh,
sure I
okay. To
was
get the
like,
exact number.
yeah,
Okay.
because I wanted to make sure I'm not just like talking out of my ass.
Right.
But yeah, super bothersome. But the import rule, I think, is yeah. I agree with you to some extent. I don't want, and even though I don't think Korean teams would necessarily just be like, oh, we can easily make or they may. A Korean team might be like LMQ back in the day, where they're like, we're gonna dump 5 Korean players in North America, and they're gonna destroy everyone and go to Worlds, and we get another free ticket.
Right.
But also, then those teams are dealing with the same issues that North American LCS is having with the formats, with the ping for solo queue, with the practice. Like,
Mm-hmm.
maybe that team ends up falling off and being like just as far behind the Korean and LPL teams as a normal
As
NBA
everybody
team.
else, yeah. They
Yeah,
just turn into dirty elo boosters, man.
exactly. Alex Ishes.
Fucking Zhao Wei Zhao.
Um,
Hope he's okay.
yeah, who knows what he's doing, man?
Who
He's
knows?
probably getting he's probably just like ranking accounts from 0 to 30 in China and selling them.
Just over and over and over and over again. Oh my god. Just LeBlancing on people
just,
who've never played the game before.
or just like Elo, like getting paid because he got. Isn't that what got him the one ban from
Mm.
competitive? He was Elo
Yeah.
boosting. So yeah,
What a guy.
he's just over there in China Elo boosting people.
Casey Tron in his pocket.
Yep, gotta get
Hell,
those. Gotta get the views.
the big anime titties, dude. Bring everybody in.
but yeah, I agree with you though in terms of like the import rule. I want to see the best League of Legends played, and if that means more people from other regions, so be it. But
Yeah.
also, we've seen plenty of times that that's failed. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that allowing it, they would find a like a more fine line for what is going to be successful. Like we've seen Korean players get transplanted into region, like throwing the sport gorilla onto Misfits, and then he
Mm-hmm.
was just not as good. Like it doesn't always work out,
Right. Right.
but at least
Yeah.
they.
Just because they're from that country doesn't mean they're going to be great at the game.
But it gives you
Um.
opportunities to like,
Right.
and if you do have a full Korean team that drops into LCS, maybe that's more competitive practice for the North American teams that are going to be
Exactly. Exactly. Like you're just going to
just like potentially pull everyone up.
right. Well, that's and I think there would have to be some I don't know, man. Like it doesn't feel like the academy leagues is enough. Like I think of like the minor leagues in baseball where there's this whole farm system of bringing players up through the ranks and eh, having them play at different competition levels and
Mm,
until they're finally ready for, like the
yeah,
Dodgers or whatever the fuck. Um yeah, I just feel like NA does not spend enough good time like developing talent
yeah,
and that's just created an overall like weak league. And if we do overturn the import rule or change it in some way, hopefully NA behaves in a way where they bring up the whole region and don't just make it like you know China 2 or Korea 2 or whatever.
yeah. I think, yeah, I think adjustments to the rule would be better than just like removing it.
Yeah,
So
like go to like 3 players or 4 players.
3 players, 4 players, like maybe you just have to have one North American resident on a team or something. Like
Right.
it's yeah, is that a North American team? Well, yeah, because the org is a North American org. So like it's, I mean, you look at other sports and things like that, like Japanese baseball teams have a bunch of Americans on them.
Mm-hmm. Hell yeah.
European basketball leagues have a lot of Americans going over there to play basketball.
Oh yeah.
Like you've got, there's got to be some sort of adjustment that you can make to make it more competitive with the
One
import
more
rule.
foreigner per team would make it more competitive.
100%. I
Mm-hmm.
definitely agree with that. So I would like to see some changes. I'm curious to see what they actually do with it because I know it's been a hot topic lately with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the orgs and CEOs and management and everything,
Right.
and also players. Like I'm sure there are LCS players that would have lost their spot,
Quicker, yeah.
And there are probably some that may not have had the opportunity to bounce back, like um, some of the standout players that I feel like we've seen throughout
Yeah,
the
like
season so
Dardoch may not
far.
have a career if
Afromu.
right.
Afromu was garbage last year, and now he's on one of the top like 4 teams, and like performing really really well.
Right. Well, you give him Alistair, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah,
Like it
the meta is good
meta
for him.
dependent. Yeah, that's an important thing to say. Like when the metagame is favorable to you and the champions that you like to play, yeah, of course you're gonna shine. But if they want you playing like Lulus and Jannas and stuff, that you that a flash R doesn't just kill the whole team,
Yeah.
um, yeah, you're gonna look a whole lot different.
Oh, absolutely. It's a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think I would like to see some changes. But I guess
I would just
going
like to see NA be more competitive. That's
yeah,
that's all I really want. I don't want big sweeping changes and this to the league.
right.
I just want a little more competition. That's all.
Yeah, I want us to see us be more competitive, which will lead us to more international success. Whether that success is winning worlds or not,
Right.
at least we won't be the ones that everyone's like, haha, North America, another year, no one making it out of groups. You guys,
Yeah.
like, I,
Such a laughing stock, man.
I want to see us take teams to good series and like look good internationally, and that could potentially grow into a world championship down the road. Who knows? But
Mm-hmm.
like, I think doing some of these kinds of changes are better than just switching the format for playing every single year.
I agree. And just trying to get TSM a dub.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
agree.
they got 2 dubs this week.
Yeah, they're pretty good, man. Although I have to say that there is an alternate reality where Justin and Aaron are talking about how sick the new TSM World skins are,
Oh, it's
and
gotta.
Bjergsen's still playing, and we
If
have a TSM Syndra skin.
if TSM won Worlds, then Bjergsen would 100% have a Cinder skin. 100%. No
Oh
chance
yeah,
that it's not.
easy.
That's the only champion I would ever imagine him having a skin for.
That or Zillion. His Zillion win rate was insane by the time he retired. It was up
True.
there with like well, I guess not because he lost a bunch, but
Faker's LeBlanc. Is it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that was probably the most epic game 5 ever. Like just seeing it in pick and ban, like you knew what was going to happen,
Oh
and
yeah.
it felt so bad.
Oh.
It felt so bad. You're just like, no.
That's how
Yeah.
I felt every time Bjergsen picked Zillion in a game 5 against Cloud9.
Ah, there you go.
Felt terrible because it was so gimmicky that I was just like he would
And it was
almost
gonna cheese him so hard. It
it
was
would
gonna
it
win.
would almost only pull it out in game 5s, and I was like, we they win.
Yeah.
They win.
Yeah. It is pretty
No
it is pretty
one
interesting when players have like those quintessential champs.
and it like if you get enough times playing against it, then yeah, like you can start to figure out how to play against it, like picks and bans differently, whatnot. But like
Right.
when you're seeing it once in a blue moon, it's just like Zillion Chrono Shift that that cartoon is just Bjergsen out here dancing with Zillion, like dancing on the graves of all my Cloud9 boys.
Oh, that's
Devastating,
so
man.
funny.
It's brutal.
Yeah,
Um,
man.
but
TSM Syndra.
TSM Syndra, that's actually been something that was something I was gonna mention, but
Go for it.
I am really enjoying the meta right now. I feel like I enjoy seeing the Syndra and Azir. Those are pretty cool picks because I feel like you have to. I mean, yeah, Syndra does have the one shot capability, the like outplayed, I got hit by a stun and I'm dead,
Right.
but I mean at the same time she's a champion you have to position really well.
Hmm.
Azir, same kind of thing, using your Shurima shuffle and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they're pretty tough champions in
Hmm.
general.
High skill
Um,
cap overall.
yeah, like they and high ceiling. And I think it's fun to see that. I also really like that in the top lane meta, you can see people playing like Tank Gragas and like Gnar, but you can also see like Gangplank and Jace and just all Aatrox.
Hmm.
You get a good mix, and I feel like it's cool that you can see so many different picks in this meta right now.
Yeah, it's relatively varied, I would say. The top lane meta is interesting. Um, Although I think what says more than the top lane meta is what the jungle meta looks like right now, with
Mm.
the Udyr and the Olaf being such high priority.
So
But
many
then
just
you
run at you champions.
yeah, which
Skarner
is really weird.
Skarner was getting picked up this past week. Like another
Well,
just
yeah,
like
like how good is movement speed now that you don't want like Lee Sin?
yeah. Oh yeah, Lee Sin, there's no Kha'Zix, there's no
Right. And these are characters with like hops and jumps and leaps and stuff.
big
I'm
hops.
curious why just the run at you is like what people are playing.
Yeah. I it's definitely interesting. I think it's also partially because of like the 80 carry meta. Because immobile 80 carries are
Jinx,
really
Samira,
yeah, Jinx,
Jin.
Samira, Jin,
Well, I guess
Aphelios,
Samira's
or
not
well,
a mobile. She's got the
yeah,
dash, right?
yeah, but or like you've got Aphelios.
Yeah.
I
People are
think
playing Kaisa like crazy though.
yeah, I think deftly broke out Varus this past week too.
Yeah.
Like you're getting a lot of
Jinx.
you're yeah Jinx, like you're not having like Ezreal, Lucian, like those kinds of champions that have their own escapes. So I think the run at you in your face thing is like a great way to engage and kind of try and keep your immobile AD carry out of the spotlight. Like if you have this Udyr running right in your face, you have to deal with him before you can like try and hit that back line.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
that
Well,
might
yeah, I
be
have
part
heard
of
them
it.
talking about more of like the front to back team fighting, and that is kind of how it's being played, especially with the Sinders and the Azirs and stuff.
Yeah, I think with these more mobile AD carries being like some of the stronger ones, other than Kaisa, of
Hmm.
course, and I mean even with Kaisa, like her ult is more of a go in tool than it is an escape.
Yeah, because she can
Um,
only dash to mark targets, right?
right. So she can only dash to mark targets, and it's a certain like bubble around them. Like
Right.
you can't just like mark someone and just be like gone.
Right. Go from
So,
bottom lane to top lane on the mark.
yeah, you can't zoom out. You
Right.
only go in. It's not a Malphite ult where you can run away
He
with it
got played
or
too with
yeah,
Yasuo.
yep. That was a ridiculous comp for Cloud Nine. The
Mhm.
Yasuo, the Malphite, Blabberon, Gragas, and I think they had Alistar in the bot lane too.
Yeah, I think they did.
That was like every champion had a knock up for.
Perch just wanted to style on him, dude. He's just like, let me fucking spin around.
Yeah, it was fun for me.
Yeah, yeah, it was a pretty good game.
Yeah, that was
But yeah, the meta is quite fun to watch. A lot of variability. I think the pick and bans are rather interesting usually.
definitely.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree with that. But yeah, I
I don't
know
think I like Seraphine.
she, she's weird. She just seems like better Sona.
Well, yeah,
I know that's what everyone
she's
was
like attack
saying
damage Sona.
before, but yeah. Um,
I wish they would play her with Sona. And then they
there's
would just be like throwing musical notes in the bottom lane, you
there's
know?
so many or so much CC right now too, which is
Mm-hmm.
wild to see. Like seeing a bunch of AD carries take cleanse flash instead of healer teleport is
Mm-hmm.
it's interesting. Like
Well, it shows that the AD players want to play the strong, dangerous stuff as opposed to like the weak, safe stuff. Like
right.
I'm happy we don't have any fucking Ezreal players right now.
Oh yeah, and I mean that was one of my more fun champions to play because I liked going ham on him. I didn't like using my
Right.
dash to like run
Dude, but
away,
Ezreal
but
in competitive,
not fun.
it's the pillow pick, dude. It's
Mm-hmm.
so bad.
Yeah, you just you can farm from super far away with your Q. You can escape with your E.
Mm-hmm.
You can ult at people. Like you don't have to ever get in someone's face.
Right.
Like
Unless you want
you
to.
don't have to have good positioning. Like
Right.
these 80 carries right now, you have to have good positioning. Otherwise, you're getting picked off like Wild Turtle and losing a game. like
Yeah.
it's it's tough. Even like the Tristana mid picks, like you're still even seeing them get in bad positions, even though they have the jump and the
Mm-hmm.
buster shot and the flash.
To that point, the enemy players are usually good enough to know the timing to interrupt the hop. So it's not just this like, end all be all
Right.
save thing. Like I've seen some good Thresh play around it, and I think there was some good Alistair play around it as well.
Yeah. Well, there was
Um,
also even I think it was Demonte was like split pushing a top lane and got run down by someone on Renekton. And he like
uh,
buster shotted the Renekton away. And then I completely forgot about I forget which item's active ability gives you another little like dash
is
forward.
it Gale Force?
I think it might be.
Okay.
But it was like the Tristana Buster, they're in top lane just past where the first turret was.
Yeah.
So the Renekton came out of the little tri bush there,
Yeah.
gets Buster shotted back. Tristana hops. He slices and dices through the middle, through the middle of the creep wave.
Yeah.
Then uses the active item dash, and he's right back on Tristana, even
Right.
after a jump, a flash, and an ult. It's like
Jeez.
so like the positioning that these AD carries have to have, especially on these like more immobile champions, is like huge right now.
Right. Right.
It's fun to watch. Like that makes or breaks a lot of games.
I think Tactical is the most fun AD to watch right now.
Yeah.
I've seen him like actually get put in some tough spots and like come out ahead. We're like, oh damn, he just outplayed the shit out of them.
Yeah, he's been really impressive. And it's like it's funny to see like Dignitas performing so well with Stixay just like sitting on Sivir. Like he's been playing so much Sivir. Or it's not been a ton, I guess necessarily, but
It's such a
or
team
sorry,
pick
not
though.
wrong wrong
You're just
team.
there for the move speed.
Meant Golden Guardians, not Dignitas. But yeah,
Oh, gotcha.
he's like getting like starting out like 4-0 on Sivir in multiple
Mm-hmm.
games, and it's just like
Well, it's
oh
so easy. You just throw your little bouncing blades in there, and it'll kill somebody.
oh yeah, um, but yeah, I think I definitely would agree. Tactical has been really solid. I
Mm-hmm.
think he's easily competing for being one of the top 80 carries. Um, but yeah, so I guess like of your standout players, he would be one of your top ones right now, or
Yeah, I think tactical is up there. I really enjoy watching him. I really enjoy watching The support player, what's his name? I really enjoy watching what's his name, Ignar. I really
Ignar.
enjoy Ignar's
Yeah.
rel. He is really strong on that champion.
He's
Um,
good on he's really good on engaged champions. Like
yeah.
I'm pretty sure he had really solid recon play back before. Like um, his Alistar I'm pretty sure was pretty solid as well. Like
Hmm.
yeah, and the Rel's a cool pick too. I really
Yeah,
enjoy it.
anybody that you can just like say we're fighting right now. Like I love that.
Yeah.
Because not only is it like the mechanics of playing the champion, like do they know how to do it? It's like knowing when you can fight is
Oh,
important too.
it's
You know,
huge.
just like knowing that you can pull the trigger and like come out ahead. Um, and I've also really enjoyed watching Blabber play. He just has some not like I won't say insane timings, but he's just like a very heady player and that like knows exactly where to be.
Oh, definitely.
Blabber is a fun jungler to watch.
He
I love
is.
how many bans he draws too. It's really funny.
That's the wildest part about Cloud9,
Hmm.
like picking bands for me, is just seeing and like seeing them do things like they when they flex to the Gragas to the jungle when it's so
Hmm.
typically a top lane pick lately. Like he just goes out and he started out 4-0 on it. Like they were like up
Hmm.
and oh and there's a fight, Blabber engages and Blabber gets the kill. It's
Hmm.
like dude's just popping off. It didn't
Yeah.
matter that he was getting these knockups for perks on the Yasuo. It was just Blabbers getting in there, getting kills. Like
Yeah, it really is just the Blabber show on Cloud9, which is
yeah,
pretty awesome.
very fun to watch. I've also been super impressed with Alfari personally.
Oh, the top
Um,
laner.
yeah, he has looked so solid, and I know he had been really good over in LEC, and had just been on some pretty garbage teams.
Hmm.
But I seeing him be able to perform on at least like a pretty solid team is fun. Like
Yeah.
Team Liquid, I don't think has fully hit their stride in terms of where they can be between like tactical playing really well,
Hmm.
Jensen's still like a solid mid laner, and then
Yeah,
Alfari.
definitely.
Um, I think that overall they are going to get better and be a more contentious team at the top by the end of the season or by the mid season tournament.
Yeah, I think they'll be able to really open up their stride.
Yeah,
Because
but
we've seen glimmers of it even this season or even this section of the year so far.
oh yeah, and I mean like in terms of KDA, which I know is only like it's not the best stat to rate, but
Right.
like Alfari's third. He's right behind
He's 1 and 2.
Blabber and Fudge.
Huh.
I was surprised by Fudge. Um,
Fudge is a top laner, right?
yeah,
He's Cloud9's top laner.
yep. He just hasn't died a lot
Ah, man.
because he's so like Blabber is 58 kills, 25 deaths, and 102 assists right now, and Fudge is 33 kills, 19 deaths, and 86 assists.
Damn,
So
dude. That's what my Call of Duty games look like.
yeah, same, same. Every time yeah. I'm just a KD player though, so
I lose a sponsor every time I don't drop a 40 bomb. So guess what? I never lose a sponsor.
well for me it's easy never to lose a sponsor because I've never
'Cause-
had a sponsor. But yeah, I was looking at some of the stats and kind of checking that out.
Who has placed the most wards?
Oh, I don't know if they do they. Or, oh wait, I can give you the top
Nation
wards per.
score?
I can give you the top wards per minute.
Tell me it's Smoothie.
He's close.
Uh,
He is third.
uh He's third.
Yeah,
I've seen that guy Warden like a motherfucker.
he's behind Newbie of Golden Guardians and the amazing international talent Sword Art from TSM.
I knew Sword Art. Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. The Golden Guardians newbie is number 2 in Vision
No,
score.
number one.
Dude, everybody should wait, number 1.
Yeah, he's above Sword
Oh
Art.
shit. Dude,
he
they've got
has
to step up their game. Holy shit.
he has 1.93 wards per minute. He's almost placing 2 wards per minute.
Jeez.
Sword Art's 1.9 and Smoothie's 1.7.
Well, man, and this is, I mean, this may be getting in the weeds a little bit, but I don't know, man. I think those little trinkets, man, with the 30, you get a 30-second ward and you can't buy green wards. I don't know, man. The Vision game is totally fucked up.
Yeah.
The Vision game is totally fucked up.
It's so...
Are there even sight stones anymore? Or the sight stones are the support item, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. I remember that. I'm not that old.
Yeah. So it's, man, the red sight stone when you would build it on Lee Sin.
It just felt so good. You always had a ward hop.
Oh yeah.
Always had a ward hop. You were in second people fucking back to back.
No insects this year without Lee Sin being played at all. So
well, and you know, that's just another thing. It just shows the competitive level of NA. Like your league isn't good if nobody's playing Lee Sin.
Oh yeah. Garbage.
Yeah. Garbage.
But yeah, I think for me, I definitely think that Blabber has been. Do you have like an MVP? Do you think he is currently the MVP frontrunner, or do you think that anyone else is kind of challenging for that right now?
MVP frontrunner.
I know it's still pretty early, but
it seems so easy to be carrying out of the jungle, though.
That's true.
MVP, I'd give it to Pobelter.
Yo, he is a top 10 mid laner in the LCS.
He is at least in the top 10, yeah. And good on him for coming in and trying to fucking salvage the shipwreck, the Titanic that is CLG this year. That's why he's the MVP, because he's doing his goddamn hardest.
He is definitely the most
valuable
person on that team. He is 100% the most valuable person on CLG.
Yeah. Brutal, man. Brutal. Tough. Turtle, he took his glasses off. He can't even see anymore. He's just done.
Broxa is a shadow of his former self.
Broxa used to be the Fnatic jungler, right?
Yeah.
What?
He was the Fnatic jungler with Caps and Reckless.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how has this dude not retained any of that talent?
Just
yeah.
He wasn't. It's easy to be good when he's easy, or it's easy to be good when Caps is your mid laner.
Who was their top laner? Was it still Soaz at that point?
Don't think so.
No.
No, it wouldn't have been Soaz. Wasn't Huni.
Huni was on SKT at that point.
Yeah. Trying to think who all was on that. So Broxa. We're gonna
excuse me.
Excuse you. No, that's not what I'm looking for.
It doesn't really matter. The team's just bad.
Yeah, that's true. CLG is... Maybe he needs to, like, change his name or something like that.
Broxa.
Because that's...
Broxa. Bro,
Bro,
Well, yeah, if you take the X out, it's just like, bro,
it's fair.
yeah.
Was it Blippo?
Might have been
Might have been
Big Boy
Blippo.
Blippo.
I think it was, yeah, I think it was Blippo, Broxa, Caps, Reckless, and Hillsong.
Yeah, see, that sounds like a pretty good lineup to me.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think that made it pretty easy for him to not stand out as a, or it made him look better than he might be.
Sure, okay.
So I think
Yeah.
that's part of why he's struggling a little bit right now.
It's easy to be Scottie Pippen if you've got Michael Jordan next to you. God damn.
Yeah, I mean, it's also easier to be Michael Jordan when you got Scottie Pippen next to you.
That's very true. That's very true.
It's more of a, I would say, more of a caps and perks kind of comparison,
Yeah, you're right.
but nonetheless, any other LCS stuff that you were really thinking of hitting on, or
I don't think so. I'm kind of all ranted out, you know?
I know I felt like I ranted for a long time about the formats.
I mean, hey, that's kind of what we turned on to do. That's the
It's
goal.
true. So yeah, get your shit together, NaLCS.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, figure out what you're doing, copy the better leagues with your format, and then maybe that will benefit you.
Hashtag be Korean.
Yeah, Korean advice.
There you go.
Just get good.
You know, everybody out here worried about how many imported players they can have. Just buy Coma.
Everyone has a price tag.
Yeah, seriously.
But I guess we can wrap things there for
Yeah, probably a good place to call it.
this episode. Looking forward to seeing some new liveries next week and getting close to winter testing. But thanks everyone for listening to another episode of the Tall and Short of It. You can find us on anchor.fm/tall and short of it, at tall and short of the number one on Twitter. And of course, we are on YouTube as well. So thank you all for listening.
Hit that subscribe button, hit the bell, join us, leave a comment. You know, you guys know what to do. This has been the tall and short of it. Peace out, everybody.
Later, guys.